Good morning, welcome to another episode of Inside Crypto, where through the eyes of a hedge fund, I'll show you which levels to pay attention to and where big money wants to shake you out of your positions and take your money. Let's start with Bitcoin. A week ago, I showed you the supports, resistances, nothing. It just so happened that during the live show, or literally right after its conclusion, the significant news about China emerged. This news concerned how the Chinese government truly desires to control and dictate precisely where goods that are manufactured with their rare earth minerals are distributed. And then the whole Trump controversy started, with him saying he won't allow it and threatening tariffs of 100% or more. You probably know this because it basically shook up the markets. Just look here, massive liquidations, the biggest in history. Crypto, and here, even on the chart, you couldn't even see those liquidation levels anymore because they went off the scale. And even on the rebound, they weren't able to return to those levels, so this approach was a total fail. But as I said, unfortunately, when there are such massive market shifts and external news, no fund, no henchman is able to control it, fortunately. And moving forward, we see a lot of liquidations at 104,600. And a very small queue to buy, so I think the market should have no problem testing that level somewhere around there. To the upside, around 109,370 and then 114,000. Well, 109, I'd be surprised if the market didn't reach that level. 109 is the target for the coming week, and as for 113, it's hard to say. There's already a supply wall starting there, so it doesn't necessarily have to work out, but I think we'll reach 109,300. And as for Ethereum, it was an incredibly interesting situation because during the live stream, that manipulation was happening, which was supposed to push it down to this level. That's how it was a week ago. I said that we should reach 4,400 and a bit, and that position should be cleared out here and right there during the live stream. They almost got there, but you can't really see it well here. They literally missed it by a moment. And I told you during the program that this is very suspicious. If the manipulation doesn't succeed, panic could break out at any moment. And that panic did happen, but only after the program ended. That's exactly how it often goes. If the manipulation fails, they see it, someone loads up, someone tries to trigger those stop outs here. They didn't manage to pull it off. Most likely there were already other insiders involved, and here the big players clashed with each other. Some big players tried to manipulate the market and force those positions out, but they didn't know that other big players had information about what Trump was about to do. And those big players absorbed all that demand and took the positions, leaving the others holding the bag. Speaking of those urban legends that people with big money manipulate the market and always make a profit, etc. No, that's not how it is. There's always another big player who's bigger than the last, or at least just as big. So it's not as simple as you might think. We've also tried all sorts of strange things ourselves more than once, and it still didn't work out. It's really not that easy. There's always a bigger fish out there. You're the big player for someone else, and someone else is the big player for you. And that's what the life of a trader, a speculator, looks like. An incredibly interesting situation, and it's also cool that it happened live. They didn't clear it out, they couldn't get there, and later they had to run away with that hot potato. And look how long you had to wait for. The market came back, but I doubt anyone had the nerves for it. I think this is where the panic set in for those who, among others, of course, had their positions liquidated here, and here is where the panic happened. At those 4,400 levels, when breaking through 4,200 and a bit, there was already panic, and especially below 4,000, panic among those who bought in, trying to pull off that manipulation. Yes, that was a week ago, an incredibly interesting week, so what's next? Well, it's pretty much a no-brainer here that someone will try to clear out those stop losses at 3,630, 3,670. Look, there are a lot of stop losses sticking out above the demand line. Easy money to grab if someone wants to manipulate the market a bit. It's also an interesting situation in the other direction because it's worth clearing out those stop losses up to 4,200 as well. Since I'm bullish, I'd rather look for an entry into long positions around 3,670 and then hold them probably up to 4,200. I think I'd be afraid of shorts because the market phase in the kitchen cycle is such that it's still not the right time. I believe we should set aside all the super cycles, crypto cycles, and so on. I'd put that among fairy tales. Crypto has been taken over by Wall Street, and now our rules apply here because I'm that guy from Wall Street who got interested in crypto. And that's kind of where my roots are, since my first job was as a prop trader on the NYSE, so I'm Team Wall Street. Now Wall Street is taking over crypto, and from now on, the kitchen cycle will rule, not any super cycles or halving cycles. That's over now. I've already told you once that the first time I said that. Not this time, it will be. It used to be that the growth would start a year before the halving, and then it would kind of crash after the halving. This cycle didn't work the way it usually does, and now it's going to fall apart the same way because someone calculated, probably Phil Konieczny, that 150 weeks after the halving, the bull market is supposed to end. And now there's a debate. Will the crypto cycle be more important, or the kitchen cycle and the economy, interest rates, and so on? I'm on Team Kitchen Cycle, so we'll see what happens next. Thanks a lot. See you next week.